Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Sorry about that. I was just getting some ice for my drink because it has been very, very warm here today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, wherever you are. It is Sunday night. It is time for another live stream. Now, what a week it has been. It has been a week of ups, downs, left and rights, and a week of understanding, to say the least. Now, as always, it is fantastic to have you fan-mazing, not just fantastic or amazing. I'm going to call you fan-mazing people in the chat. I'm going to look across. Type was in first. Good evening, Type. How are you? Let me just move my monitor. I can't quite see the chat tonight. I haven't got it in the right place. Oh, God, I've hit a button and turned it off. Oh, no, it's back on. Come on. Let me just move it so where I can see it. There we go. Not sure if my eyesight's getting worse. There it is. Good evening, Type. How are you? I hope you're safe and well, my friend. Good evening, Auto Geek. Fly Zone Drone. Jean Quad Van Damme. Jean Quad Van Damme. I like that. Dennis. Cardon FPV. TS13 FPV. Paul, how are you, my friend? Michael Roddy. Elmo Hawk. I like that. Magi FPV. Failsafe. Hello, mate. How are you, Isaac? Hello, everyone. Bobby Bags. Mini Me FPV. Expander. Hello, Mike. Brian Lewis. How are you, my friend? Mike Bergam and Peppermint. Hello. So, as you can see, I'm a bit red because it's been hot here this week in the UK. My God, has it been warm. It really, really has. And I'm looking a bit burnt. Good evening, Jonas. How are you, my friend? The reason I'm a bit burnt is because I've been out flying literally so much in the last few days. So many packs on this system. And I'm just finishing the review as we speak. I've just got to do probably half an hour's work filming for the review. The bulk of it is cut. It's all done. It's gonna be a long one, but for the opinion bit, you can skip straight to the end and get what my thoughts are. And I'm not going to share them today, but I've said a fair amount publicly already. My Fatshock HTX stopped power up and the light blinks green and then goes back to red. Press the bind button, but nothing. Now, I've had an issue where it does not reconnect on channel 1. So if you're having an issue, I would just fire it all up and try changing channel with it on. But if it turns red, I wasn't getting it turning red. Have you tried rebinding it? I would try reflashing the firmware on both sides. I have reflashed mine this week and I had some interesting behavior in the sense of I'm not convinced the VTX even tried, but the goggles definitely tried, but with a completely different beep. A completely different beep to the beep I got with it updating the first time. When it updated the first time, it was a slower beep on the update firmware. Whereas when I tried reflashing the same firmware, it was a very rapid beep for like 10 to 12 minutes. And I thought, will it never end? But it did end and it worked. Something we don't know is, will you be able to downgrade firmware? That is not something I'm aware of. Jonas, I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that. Just make sure your power supply for the VTX is good as well. I don't know what you're powering it off. That could be worth checking. Good evening, Spotted Love. How are you? Have you tried turning it on and off 3 times? With Avatar, yes. 3 times may be the thing. The system is very, very buggy. Although, I will say this. I have put a lot of packs to it in the last 24 hours, and it's actually worked very, very well in the last 24 hours. My first few flights were frankly horrible, yet it seems to be on a trajectory of going up, which I'm not quite sure why, although I do think I know why. We can work around that. Yeah. I'm just thinking if it's going red, we don't really even have any ideas what the LEDs mean. What I do know is solid green is connected, flashing green is waiting for connection. Okay, so, and there is some understanding on Avatar people need to be aware of is the radio behavior is very different to DJI. In fact, it's 100% opposite to DJI. So the radio behavior of Avatar is opposite. So on DJI, the goggles wait for communication from the VTX. They pulse a very, very minimal RF carrier, but it's a flicker and that's it. But they wait for connection from the VTX. Avatar is completely different. The goggles continuously transmit and the VTX waits for that signal. So the VTX outputs no RF at all until it receives the signal from the goggle. Then once it's received the signal from the goggle, the VTX kicks in and the carrier goes out. Now, what is interesting is there's a different behavior between the systems in how they power up as well. So for instance, DJI always powers up on channel 8 and then moves channel, and DJI sits on channel 8 for about a good second when you power DJI up. So it hops onto 8, blasts 8 heavily, and then moves on to the channel you've already pre-selected. So if your goggles are set to 3, it connects, it hits on 8, and then moves to 3. Whereas Avatar is slightly different. When the goggles first turn on, they do jump between 2 different channels. They actually skip from one to another and then onto the channel you've set. But it's very, very fast. Very, very fast indeed. Let me just find the screenshot. I did share the frequencies with Junus, actually. I should have a screenshot of that. I swear I took a screenshot of that. I hope I took a screenshot of that. Let me just have a look. I definitely wrote the frequencies down, but I also thought I screenshotted it. But I ain't seeing it, interestingly. Okay, I'm going to have to go back and find that. That's for sure. So there is a difference in the behavior. There is a difference in it. I've just go down, catching up. Gary Junus, not sure about downgrades. Evening, good evening, Carl. How are you? So there's. I'm using my own of FPV 7 years ago. Good, but digital is a very good upgrade for me because I also fly professionally for TV shows. I don't like DJI because of the goggles. Yeah, I tell you something. You do realize just how bad the DJI goggles are once you use these. Honestly, they are shocking. Yeah, I have some penetration tests in my review. And in fact, we'll take a look at a little bit of something now. There you go. Junus has posted the post I sent to him. So they boot to 5737, then jump to 5840, then on to the selected channel. So when Avatar boots the goggles, very quickly on 5737, then on to 5840, and then onto the channel as pre-selected. However, the VTX always goes straight to the channel the goggles are selected to. No messing around, boom, on there. I have had some sun. Does the hack work? There is a 1200 milliwatt hack. Yes, it works. But it's wrong to call it a hack. It isn't a hack. It is baked in functionality. They may as well have just left it on the menu. I'll be honest. I've done some flying today, and I am pleasantly surprised about the penetration performance. Pleasantly surprised. A big concrete building between me and it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't brilliant, but it was okay. John Quad Van Dam, do I think DJI version 3 will blow Fat Shark and Walksnail out the water? No. I don't. And I tell you why. Because if this system gets to where it needs to be, and I'll be honest, it ain't there today. But if it does, I don't see a reason to choose DJI. Because there is a point in FPV for 90% of people where this image quality is good enough. You are always going to want an external camera for other things. Now, if DJI do what is rumoured, I'm not convinced it's going to work out for many people as being the ideal solution. I'm not convinced. There will always be, there will always be people who want more from image quality, but that's where the GoPro comes in. I'm not going to say how far I've flown because I'll drop myself in trouble, but let's just say it's okay. I've not pushed it, but it's okay. Let me find a little bit of footage to share with you. Now, I wasn't that far from this building, but the fact remains I was lower than it, and I was the other side of it, and the signal was fine. Although, I have noticed some interesting behaviour that at times... you seem to get some stutters in the goggles that I'm not getting on the DVR footage. And I'll explain why, because in one of these recordings, I ended up twitching the quad because I virtually lost image in the goggle. But when I look back at the DVR, it actually looks okay. And I was like, whoa, that's weird. Hey, Sean, how are you? Do I think Orca? No. Nowhere near at the moment is what I think on Orca. Nothing against Orca, but nowhere near. Now, let me just find this bit of footage I'll share with you. What I'll also say is this. I think this has the potential to look better, but it's got a long way to go. A long way to go. Okay, let me just find it. So we're looking for footage. We're looking for today. Now, all of my footage in my review, and I'm going to say this, is going to be from the goggles. I'm not putting any DVR footage from the VTX at all in it, because there's no point. The VTX is better than the goggles, so it is better just to show the goggles. I don't think I'm not going to be able to make it, Sean. It's not looking like it. Right, let me just find some of this footage I'll share with you. I know which footage it is. I just don't know which one it is. Is it this one? No, not that one. Let me just find the right bit. No, it's not that one. Might be this one. Yes, it is. Right, okay. Let me just cue this up to the right place. Okay. Right, I just want to show you guys something. Now, just to bear in mind, okay, this is a car park with a building, okay? You can see the latency and everything along the bottom as well. Ignore the distance measurement, complete and utter tosh. I know I'm in front of it. It doesn't make any sense at all. Not once you get some range. But, okay, just so you know, right, I am here. Okay, so just note, I am here in that shadow there because it was too bloody hot to stand anywhere else. So I am there. Okay, so just do that. I'm going to come around a minute so you can see. So I'm in that shadow there. Let me just move around. I was messing around. Right, so from this angle here, I am in that shadow there, above my head. Literally above my head is where I am. Now, what we're talking about is going behind this building here, okay? We're not far away. I'm there to there, but this building is higher than me. Complete concrete structure is what I'm about to show you, okay? So I'm not particularly far from it, but it is there. So you can see I'm in there, hiding there. There's the building, but I'm lower. I'm much lower than the ground level from it. You know, the ground level up here is like here and there, okay? So what I want to do is get to where... So what I want to show you is this. So we come over the top, and I want to show you a couple of things. I do this slowly just to see what the penetration's like. So at this point here where I'm going to pause, there is no line of sight at all at this point. As I move forward here now, as I am here, right, I'm stopping. I am through this building. I am the other side of this building, lower level. You'll see it when we come out over the hedge in a minute, but I am the other side through this concrete structure, and I'm just there hovering around. Low level, I stayed low intentionally to see what it's doing. You'll see where I am in a minute. Now you can see the bitrate has dropped to 10 megabits a second, but it's still holding up on the latency, and I'm in low latency mode. So at this point here, I am completely behind that building. And you can then see I am there behind it. That's legit. And I did this so many times today. I did it time and time and time again, and it was fine. I think the penetration has the potential to be much better than DJI. It's where DJI really struggles. Again, nothing in this car park. This is low latency mode. You can see that's why the latency's down there. Just doing some tests. Let me just find, but yeah, I'll show you again. I think I come over once. Yeah, this is the first time I come over. So again, let's just show. We get to there. So again, we're coming over the top. And again, at this point, I am right. Now, this is goggle DVR. That there, right? Now, this is the weird bit right here. What you see me twitch the aircraft, only once did I get this, had a bunch of stutters on the OSD. No, I was using Crossfire. I've got Crossfire on this quad intentionally. 900 megs. So as you see there, watch me after Twitch. I completely lose the image of it. I'm like, whoa, where the bloody hell am I? What's going on here? And that's why I put a bit of height on. But it doesn't lose it in the goggles DVR. I lost it in the view a second. It was only like a stutter for a second. But I lost it there. And you can see it is blocking a little bit, but it's fine. Absolutely flyable. I came around. And now you'll see, look. So I'm coming up here. So look. Yes, I am there. You can see me right there. But look, where I am, you know, we're not talking a great distance, but I am much, much lower, much, much lower, and through this building. That building is concrete block and steel. You know, you can see the lower height difference there as I come down and through. There. At that moment, it was delayed 110. Yeah, it was weird. I had a kick on my side. Fairly high. Not maximum. Not maximum. 3 digits, but not maximum. But still. Is it this one again? But the fact it pushed on through, I had a few stutters there. I was doing it slow, but the real one for me is the one where I come round slowly, unintentionally. I virtually stop. Is that the world famous completely plastic building? Yeah, it's actually made of concrete block, ladies and gents, with a metal roof nonetheless as well. So I just comes in and I just hovers around. Yes, there's windows. I don't know if perhaps I was coming through the windows, but that shouldn't have been working. See, I'm just hovering, look. I'm just hovering. I'm not. I thought I'm going to stay and see what it does. Much of the signal would be over. arriving by the way of reflections in such an environment. Yeah. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It really is pretty good. So that shares with you a little bit of what the penetration can do. Fly inside a dumpster. No, I didn't try DJI, but I can tell you now DJI would not have coped with that. I've been around stuff with DJI. Unfortunately, I've had to... I need to rebuild... Unfortunately, I've ripped DJI out of the quad to put Avatar in. I actually need to build another one. What I meant to do was put the Vista on the top and try it with just the Vista. I can get... DJI wouldn't have played ball. Not there. No way in hell. No way in hell would DJI have gone. Just based on my own experience in the past. So I'm impressed. I am. There are bits of this system that are very, very good. Side by side with DJI, well, I have that, and I'll share that. The problem is, for me to live stream it, it won't look very good. But that is coming in the review. A side by side with the Vista on the top. The only problem is, you can't use it as a comparison for signal loss because you cannot run the systems at the same power. You just can't. It will not work. I have flown with both on board. So let me just find the image to show you. We have flown with both systems. Is it this one? Yeah, let me just share with you guys this. So this is the setup of the dual system. You can see we have a Vista on top, modified. And then we have the Avatar cable tied in the back because the cable isn't long enough to reach all the way. If you get the micro one, don't get the micro one. And that gives you an idea of the side-by-side, but you cannot use that footage as sort of penetration testing because the Vista is basically at minimum power and Avatar isn't, because that's the only way I can get it to work. The Vista has an advantage there. Yeah, higher series antenna. Yeah, it doesn't with it moving around. But to give you an idea of how that would look, I hope they do sell. It's got a shorter cable, so it doesn't have as long a cable, and other cables are not available at the moment. But that, and then did I export a comparison between the two? Did I do that? Let me just have a look. Let me share with you guys a little sneak peek of something. Okay, this is the kind of thing you're going to see. Now, obviously, you can see the DJI camera in the Avatar view. Caught the grass there. My weight was caught me out. It was a bit heavier than I thought with the... I didn't have the throttle... Because I've rebuilt it. I didn't have the throttle mid-set properly. And every time I was turning the yaw in, she was just plummeting. There's a little bit of bounce on the Vista one as well. You're getting a bit of vibration, but nothing major. No, both at 25, 720p 60. Everything was the same apart from RF power. 720p 60, 25. Yeah, I've got it at 85. I've got a little bit of expert. I've actually got a throttle limit on, unfortunately. Not unfortunately. I have it on for dumbing it down a little bit, but I need to take it off this one. She's a bit heavier. Yeah, I bet the live stream compression is... you will need to see this properly when it's done. in the review. You will see this properly. Yeah, this lens is wide. This lens is very wide. What I can tell you is on my side, the Avatar looks dramatically better. Yeah. It hand on heart. Genuinely, it looks so much better. It's much sharper. It's much clearer when it's working. When it's working. And both note, these are both goggle DVR recordings. Nothing I've done has been done. Yeah, we'll need a bit of lens correction. Now look, now you're getting some breakup on the Vista, the blocking in the Vista. Just again note the power level is down on the Vista. So the blocking is... In reality, it's green. I'd say it's somewhere between the two. I'd say the Avatar is a little bit over and the Vista's a little bit under. It's closer to the Avatar than the Vista. It's closer to the Avatar. Probably not quite that green, though. But the Vista... Now, on the Vista, that is the camera vibrations. Yeah, a little bit. But it just looks better, even on the deck. Yeah, even on the deck. You know, you put them down next to each other, there's more detail in the Avatar. There is more detail in the Avatar image. It just is. You know, the vibrations will thing it a little bit, but it is different. Yeah. The Avatar is just nicer. I'm sitting here in post looking at both going, yeah, it definitely looks better. It definitely looks better on Avatar. Although the compression behaves differently. The compression behaves differently. Mic has gone. It looks okay on my side. Someone let me know if I am still working. Grass is always greener on the Avatar. That's a great comment. Yeah, there's definitely more detail in the Avatar. Definitely more detail in the Avatar. Nice touch and go there. I had it a few times. My throttle's a little bit over limited. DJI looked a little bit better in the shadows. I was coming down a bit hot there, and I was like, oh, behave. And then I think the OLEDs make a big difference, Jason. In the goggles, it looks very good. It does look very... 1080p in the goggles looks fantastic. 1080p in the goggles looks fantastic. This was just a quick toss around. The Avatar does better power loops. I can't remember, do I take it into the bushes and crash in this one? Is this the one where I take it in? Let me just have a look. I can't remember if this is the video where I crash. No, it isn't. The actual edit in the thing, I crash. What do you use to power the goggles? Long cable, pocket battery I always use. I've always got a big LiPo in my pocket ready to go on fire. Do you got some comparison with each system? No, I haven't done anything with DJI at 50. I've tried to keep it the same. The video's long enough now. Avatar today is not a finished product. Okay. So, my review will go live in a couple of days. I don't want to spoil the review, but what I'm going to say to you is this. It should come with a warning, because there are some big issues that need to be resolved. But when it is working very well. But please take into account what I am saying when I say when it is working. I will be honest. If this gets sorted, I don't care what DJI do. Because I think this is perfect. I think it's perfect. If it gets sorted, I don't care what DJI do. I just don't care. Because this is good enough. The 1080p mode is very, very pretty when it's working properly. DJI is a good product, but as a company, I don't care about it. It doesn't have audio. Yeah, there's that element. Perhaps they can add it. No, I've not had any random image loss. I've not lost signal on it yet, neither. I've not had an actual signal drop. I've forced it in my testing. I don't care. The hardware is always subjective. The DJI Air unit is too big. So if you're going to argue about hardware, DJI Air unit's too big. The mounting pattern on the VTX is stupid. So, you know, if we say what's bad, okay, the VTX mounting pattern is stupid. They haven't bolted the heat shielding on. And the size and shape isn't ideal. But if we're going to complain about that, HDZero 1 watt is a pain in the ass as well. I get used to that stuff. You can't have your cake and eat it. The Vista is a double stack for that shape and size. Perhaps they can do a double stack. But that all stuff can change. That can all be done. What I'm saying is, if they can tune the system that it works properly, I don't really see what else I would want, because it does 1080p, it does decent 720p. It's good enough. You can use the avatar system without registration. Now, we know DJI are going to bring something, but I'm not just remember with DJI, their goal is more integration, not serving the FPV community. And again, it's interesting. You'll notice I haven't lower fixed latency at 1080p. Yeah, it'd be nice. And there's a reason I haven't mentioned HDZero in any of this. And the reason is the same arguments apply between Avatar and HDZero as they do DJI HDZero, okay? So I'm not going to do any comparison to HDZero because HDZero has never been about the image quality anyway. It's very, very good now. But HDZero always has a slight muddiness to the image due to the way it works. So you'll notice I'm not talking about HDZero in any of this because HDZero is very much a simple argument. Do you want the best possible latency with good performance with analog style breakup? If you do, you want HDZero. That is the same argument today as it's always been. That will not change. The question will be DJI or Avatar. I don't think HDZero comes into that argument. That's a higher level. And I can't wait to see how HDZero looks in the OLED native displays. I think it will look fantastic. Yeah. Now, be under no illusion. At the end of my review, I am giving you a big warning on this product. HDZero works damn well in dense weather. It does. It does have its benefit. You know, the same arguments of HDZero over DJI are still there for HDZero Avatar for the most part. It's not about them. This is about Avatar DJI. That's where this war is. That's where this product's fighting. And I said, it's not finished. It's beta. Very, very, very beta. And it should come with a sticker on the box saying that. And it remains to be seen, can the manufacturer deliver on the product? Can they make a product that works? We don't have history to go by. So I will openly say, buyer beware. But it has a lot of potential. Any news on the Tiny Whip VTX for the Avatar system? No, I think they've only just got this out the door. I think we need to be fair to them to give them some time on that. HDZero is a different product for different purposes. Yeah, I agree. I think this is about DJI. And look, we know DJI are working on stuff. We've been told. JB talked about it last week. There were some leaks on my Discord. Not saying any names. We know DJI are working on a product, but I'm not convinced that's the product everyone in FPV will want. I'm still not convinced it's going to be something what everyone want. I would call it perfect for me. DJI is consistent. Yeah, this is, again, when this is working, it's very, very good. When it's not, it's horrible. There's no other term to use. For those who've seen, just to show you guys, I put a post up on the Walksnail group, for those who haven't seen, with a list of problems, including one which I think is dangerous, fundamental and potentially dangerous right now. And I have put this up on their Facebook page. I've shared with everyone, so they have the information on these problems. Problem number 1 is no connection on boot. On power up, VTX does not connect to goggles. VTX LED flashes green, resolved by changing the channels on the VTX. On the goggles. Now, I will say this. This seems to be very specific to channel 1. Very specific to channel 1. I think this is more of a problem that it's not looking correctly. However, there is more to this than just that issue. It also relates to the system recovering in signal loss. So if the VTX loses connection to the goggles, in my tests here, it doesn't always re-establish the connection if you are in channel 1. So at the moment, there is a potential risk of loss in the event of signal loss because it may not recover in channel 1. Very interesting. Needs resolving ASAP. I would strongly suggest firing in channel 2 and 3. Haven't been able to test all of them. There's the issue of it getting stuck in 3 megabits a second mode. The system just gets stuck in 3 megabits a second. And it looks horrible. Most of the time happens when you switch between the signals. If you lose signal on channel 1 and it doesn't come back, if you go in the goggles menu and switch channel, it comes back instantly. So it's definitely a bug, but it seems very much related to channel 1. Random stutters in flight, very much related to the DVR. Much worse with the DVR running on the VTX side. To be honest, the performance is much better without running the DVR. MSP OSD scaling issue. There's a weird thing that it rescales the size of the OSD depending on if you're in 720p 60 or 720p 120. Yet the field of view doesn't change. I don't understand why it's doing that. And the performance in 25 milliwatts is pretty horrible across the board. Pretty horrible across the board. So I put that up just so I shared all of the issues. Mike Bergman, did anyone see the video of the guy testing a grounded Vista? No, Mike. What was noticeable? What, the signal performance or the image quality? There's no reason it would have any effect on image quality. The only thing it could affect is signal performance, and you're just grounding the antenna out. So is he saying better or worse? Lose the signal, check down the back of the sofa. Yeah, it's got problems. Dji, well, EU users don't need to hack it to get to 700. Way better grounded. Probably the antenna. It's just helping ground plane. That'll upset all of the people saying, you shouldn't ground it. It's dangerous. I need to find that myself. Remember, mind, every one person's observations of a system will be different, including in the review. Did I find the front-facing antennas an issue? Yes and no. It is very antenna sensitive, this system. I ended up I've been using intentionally DJI antennas on it. So the antennas I've been using on Avatar is a mix of two. Two V1 stubbies and two of DJI's extended left-hand circular polarized on the front. So I've been using these two on the front and those two on the top. And the reason I've been using DJI Antennas is very, very simple. I want it to have comparable use to DJI when I've been doing some of my other tests. I want it like for like. Yes, you will see benefits from large patches. We all know that. But what I want is a baseline on the performance versus the DJI system. I flew a lot of the fields I flew with Avatar the day before with DJI, and I had it down, and Avatar at times is better, at times is worse. It's not grounding antennas. It's there's this argument that if you have it grounded and something else shorts, then it could cause a fire. It is an argument, frankly, of nonsense in my opinion, because what's grounding is the problem, not the Vista being grounded. Their argument is that if you ground the Vista and if another wire comes loose and touches the frame, it's going to short. Well, that could just happen anyway. Yes, you know, anyone who's done ham would know. Check your ground, improve your video link. Oh, I can see the video there. I'm not particularly concerned about grounding the Vista in the sense of the problem of it causing problems. So that's it with Avatar. The review will go live the middle of this week. Someone asked, there was a question I just asked. Someone asked me, let me just find it. If wires come loose, you've got other problems anyway. That's my attitude, yeah. Worth the money. GMI asked, worth the money. Questionable. Do you like being a product tester for a manufacturer at a cost of $800? That is the question. Do you like product testing and paying for that privilege? Reminds me of doing stuff for DJI. If it works properly, absolutely. If it works properly. Today, it is very inconsistent. What I've showed you today is everything working. I've got some stuff here that's pretty horrible when it's not. I'll show one other thing. I'll show you the stuck in 3 megabits mode. As I said, wait until the next flying season. There's a lot to fix, and it remains to be seen if they can do it. Where's the 3 megabits one? Is it this one? Nope. I uploaded to archive. Where's it gone? That's weird. It's vanished. Avatar antenna. That's weird. The one I'm looking for is gone. Before... It's not that one. That's weird. Where's that video gone then? That's annoying. You know when you do a video and it vanishes? Huh, it virtually will be open source the way things are going. Here's something interesting. Let me just show you guys this. This is the scaling issue, right? That I don't understand at all. Right, so image number 1, okay. Image number 1 is in... Let me just check a minute. Yes, okay, so let me put these side by side so you guys can see. and I'll make them the same size. Ugh. Didn't want to do that. Okay, so image number 1 there, right? This image here and this image here. Okay, they're not scaled the same a minute. Let me just get it close. So in 720p, 60 frames a second, and 1080p, you get really small MSP OSD elements. Actually, that's the same picture twice. Let me just open the other one. It's that one there. Yet, when you're in 720p 120, the OSD elements are much larger, look. And I don't understand why. Yet, the scaling is... There's no field of view difference. You know, you look between these two images, the field of view is exactly the same. It is... Yet the OSD elements are different sizing. Makes no sense. I have no idea why it's doing it. It's rescaling the OSD, and I don't know why. I prefer it larger, if I'm honest. Can you put it in 4:3 when you fly? Yeah, I think there's a... Yes, there is a 4:3 mode. No, they haven't. If they had, I'd be loaded. I sent them a page of 8 last week. They've said there's no hard wall limit, but I've not flown it that far. Yes, but why would that change between 120 frames a second and 60? It's the same resolution. Both 720p. It's weird, isn't it? But the field of view is the same. Very weird indeed. So there's definitely scaling. Something's changing. Something's changing. Something's definitely changing. Anything's possible. Audio, yeah, there's no reason. It's just data. It's whether they've got the I/O for it on the chipset, on the VTX. It'll be whether the I/O is there. That's the real hard question. We just don't know if there's I/O. Okay, guys. Before we move on to the next subject, which is how dangerous ExpressLRS is, and it's not. It's really not. We've had 33 likes, so thank you for them. If you're here and you found this interesting, please do give us a like. I'm going to do a bit of shilling at this point because it might work. You never know. Super chats are always welcome. I just want to thank everyone who is a patron of the channel. We would not have been able to buy these goggles without the support of the donations we had on last week's live stream. And in fact, those donations allowed me to get that in stock from America quickly. But also, it allowed me to get this system as well. So I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to everyone who did. A massive thank you to everyone who did. We wouldn't have been able to do it. If you're new here, hello, welcome to the channel. Sorry I'm itching. I'm covered in fly bites. When I was flying in the field yesterday, I was getting bitten left, right, and center from the bloody gnats and everything around me. So if I'm itching, there's a reason why. But yeah. So the next subject we need to talk about is a post from Ivan at Orca. Now, I'm not going to say the obvious, that Orca own Immersion RC, so why would it be in Ivan's interest to highlight an article saying ExpressLRS is dangerous? I can't imagine for one moment why it would be in his interest to highlight an article like that, but then say, hey, I'm just sharing an article, but Ivan did on the Orca lounge, as you can imagine, and said, just going to leave this here, and then put an edit up afterwards, but leads to this article, which is not wrong. The article isn't factually wrong, but the article is it's a vulnerability that is possible. It's probably possible in every link. It's so extreme anyway. From a hobby point of view, why would you worry about it? And it really isn't worth thinking about. Now, to be fair, the info in the article is correct in the sense of the issue technically exists. Just like the issue technically exists that someone could hack your bank account or your cell phone or anything else. But as for the reality and the amount that it's going to happen, it is very, very low. And the fact of that this is an open source code and that it is publicly available, yeah. Now, the article has a Mavic in the picture. I know. And I'm not going to go into the deeps of it. There's some interesting comments that were put on this that has changed. And some of the comments were that the ExpressLRS dev team ignored the problem. Now, is it in this article that they said they ignored the problem? Because someone put in this rather elaborate workaround into the ExpressLRS system they wanted to put in, which basically didn't fix the problem anyway. But I just found it interesting who showed this article. But I can't imagine why they would show this article. It's not like they have recently joined forces with a company that also makes an RC control link, and it would be in their interest to once again slag off, slander, or at least play down the benefits of an open source control link that is being supported by an amazing dev team that is seeing development rates unheard of, and a system that is literally probably going to end all of the other systems anyway. But hey, it's not like he'd have any horse in that race, is it? Yeah. Anyway. The reality is this. It's not worth thinking about. It's such a small problem. There's as much chance as someone literally just stealing your key or your code anyway. And even if they did it, they would be out of timing. And I have seen the result of that. If you actually want to see what happens, you can actually demonstrate for yourself how this would behave, because you can set two remotes to the same key, turn one on and let it connect to your aircraft on the bench and look at beta flight and see what it does, then turn the other transmitter on. When we turn the other transmitter on, sorry, I just need to hide that user. When you turn the other transmitter on, it will link and try to control it, but it can't, and it all gets a little bit all over the place, and it's not capable of doing the full control because it isn't timed with the actual timing link that the original one sets up, because they hop in together and time together, basically. So not only if you took control, you still wouldn't be within timing anyway. But you can actually test the likelihood of it happening for yourself. So yeah, it's complete and utter nonsense. It is not worth thinking about. If you're interested in reading the pull request, it's here, and Jay was very straightforward. It's more hassle than it's worth thinking about to implement a fix for this, because all control links are vulnerable that are FHSS. It's just not worth thinking about. So that's why ExpressLRS is dangerous and you shouldn't use it. Because it isn't. Just found it interesting who was highlighting that article, that's all. You tend to find people who are losing a battle at all corners tend to start throwing stones out as hard and fast as they can. Orqa makes some great products. I think the goggles are very good. They're not perfect, and the optics are not as good as these, I can promise you that. However, they're a very, very good goggle. But they need to concentrate on what they're doing and not worry about what anyone else is doing. People in stone houses ought to not throw glass. Looking forward to Trappy rant on this. I saw Trappy's live stream the other day. They were talking. Yeah, it's hard. I don't want to be mean, but the pace of development is glacial at the moment. I've seen, you know, it's hard. You know, everything is just glacial. It really is. They need to speed up. End of. They need to speed up. End of. Does any of the 240 gram packs work with the Pix 4D? I don't know. Do I think having a community video randomly picked would be fun to see? Could be interesting. Which means their version 2 gimbals are know when you're ready. Hard to be free when your innovation is there. Yeah, in Hong Kong. The lenses, the optics are I class the optics as not the lens, not the screen, but the glass and optic elements. By a random video, do you mean Airwave Ants video? I like that. So that's the ExpressLRS thing. Something I will highlight whilst we are talking about Orqa, because I did do this the other day. The Immersion RC power meter is coming back. So if we go to Orqa FPV's horrible website, and this website is shocking, let's see if Orqa have fixed their website, okay? Since I was here last. I haven't been here for a while, so let's see if they fixed it. So, Orqa make FPV goggles. Oh, let me ban that as well. Oh, they're out tonight. So, I like FPV goggles. Let's have a look. We want FPV1s. Oh, I've heard Orqa make FPV1 goggles, don't they? So I'm going to click on FPV1. Oh, look. There we go. We've got a picture of FPV goggles. There we go. The FPV1s. Premium headset we've all been thinking of. Okay, that looks good. Okay, this all looks good. Oh, I like this. Oh, there's some footage. Okay, so I want these goggles. Right, I want to buy these goggles, so I'm going to go buy now. Okay. Okay, so it's taking me to the page to buy the goggles. So I can go down. Oh, I can buy the Connect module. Oh, I can buy a batch. Wait a minute. I can't buy the goggles. What? I can buy, okay, headsets. Yeah, FPV headsets. Add to cart. Well, I got the module, but I don't want the module. Oh, I want the I don't want the battery. I want the goggles. Look, it doesn't. Look, I've clicked on the goggles, and I said I want to buy these goggles now. But there's no goggles. So no, they haven't fixed their website. It's still as shocking as ever. So to get to the goggles, do you know what you actually have to do on Orqa's website? You got to go to the shop. So you don't click on the picture that says, "Oh, FPV1." You don't click on that and go, "Oh, I want them of these. Buy now." No. That just takes you to a dead end page. What you got to do is go on the bloody shop. And boom, suddenly it all comes up. Who would have thought? Now I can buy goggles. But if I didn't click that shop button, I wouldn't have bought goggles. Now I can buy goggles. Cool, who would have... Look at this. Are Orqa related to Immersion RC at all? They're selling their products. So, anyway, the power meter's back. You can order it in a few weeks. It's on pre-order. I think you can order it now. But it's 80 quid in the UK. As far as I'm aware, nothing has changed, so it is still useless for digital FPV. Who would have thought you could buy items from the shop? Yeah, my only argument is I want a headset and I click on the headset button and it takes me to a page where you can buy a module and a bit, but not the headset itself. Who would have thought? I wonder if they're involved with each other. So I believe it's the same version. I don't believe anything's changed. It's just back into production. I do know they had a problem sourcing a couple of the product components. I believe it was the built-in 30 dB attenuator. I think they had problems sourcing that. But you can pre-order it now. So if you have set yours on fire and melted the screen, hands up who's done that, you can get yourself a new one. Buy now should be connected to the shop. Exactly. Exactly. The buy now button should go to the shop. Now, it's only been like that since the release of all of their new products, which is months ago. So it's only been months ago that their website doesn't take you to the store when you click on, ooh, FPV1. Yeah, I want a set of FPV1s. Oh, buy now. Buy now. And, oh, no. Absolute crap show. Absolute crap show. Orca bought Immersion RC. Yes, they did. It's, you do wonder with these companies at times when you just say, look, you know, calm down, Ian. It's too warm tonight. It just makes me laugh. Also does, yeah, I wonder if their links to the 533 shop work. Should we have a look? Yeah, they do the 533 now. I do mean to place an order, actually. I want to get in a 533. Here we go. So they got the 533 motors, 18 quid a motor, 533 charger, nut ends. We'll talk about some nut ends in a minute because I've been printing. Stop bashing Orca. There it is. Where is the Switchback Pro? Light switch frame. And continues to be. Light switch frame kit. Let's have a look. Have they got the stack saver? No. Where's the Switchback Pro? Is that menus? No. So we want products. No products. 533 only. So does it show anything different when I do that? She's got the charger. So you got the Switchback Zero frame light kit. 38 quid. That's not bad, actually. It's pretty good. Money's pretty good on them. Light switch frame kit. Switchback Pro frame kit. 33 quid. It's not terrible. Not terrible at all, actually, is it? Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. So they've got the light version and the FSG. Yeah, pretty good indeed. €60 over there. That's interesting. So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. So guys, if you've got any questions, please do put it into the chat. That's most of my ranting tonight. Funny enough. Jean-Claude Van Damme, if DJI would not have come out with their goggles, Orca would have replaced Fat Shark. I'm not convinced. Fat Shark make some, you know, you got to take into account HDO2 stroke Orca 1 purchasers stroke SkyZone 4X purchasers are the top end of the market. That's not the average FPV pilot. I'll be honest, the SkyZones were a better goggle for me. Absolutely preferred the SkyZones than the Orcas in 90% of ways that mattered to me, and they were better value. I think the Orcas are very good, but I don't like the optics on the version 2s, and I'd like to have tried the version 1s. I didn't get to try them. But the FPV-1 Pilot's a very nice goggle, but they're far from perfect. Far from perfect. The buttons are dull. I did tell you I'm below average. The buttons are dull, too close to the surface of the plastics. The optics I don't like. A field of view is a bit small for me. There's a lot of really nice features in there, but half of them don't work. If you try the streaming, it's pretty poor at best. SkyZone 4Xs are a good goggle. Basic. Better than the HDO2s, in my opinion, in every way. The SkyZone 4X is a very good goggle. A very good goggle. But there are better versions. There are cheaper versions. The reality is most people are not buying high-end goggle. You got to take into account with Fat Shark just how many goggles they're selling not in that top-end range. And SkyZone. Any news on the HDZero goggle? Yes, I did ask Carl the other day. Everything is on track. They are hoping to get the first models into people's hands for testing in the next couple of weeks. What, MC Creations, what do I think is going to happen if DJI V3 bakes backwards compatibility? DJI isn't traditionally making products backwards compatible, but I don't know on this one. I genuinely don't know. I don't expect the system to have backwards compatibility, but the question is, will they bring support to the V2 goggles? No one knows. So would V2 owners be able to use it with a new system? Type, will I get one from Carl? I have no idea. I'm not expecting it. Hopefully I'll be able to buy a set sooner than later when they're available, but I'm not expecting a free set. Maybe I'll be able to try a set. I need to talk to him about that. All the V1s and V2s will suddenly stop working. Yeah, DJI will set off that little remote kill command. If I had to buy the DJI V2s, Fat Shark HDs, or Walksnail, today the DJI is a fully working product with lots of availability, with most of the known bugs solved. It's hard not to recommend DJI because it is not a beta product. It is not, as we know it, end of the world. It's not coming to the end of the life. No one's told us that. I would be cautious, but I think if you were going to buy, if it's a choice, but if you're looking for a fully working system, then DJI is still the only option on those three, ignoring HDZero. Because you have to be taken into account, this is not a fully working product today. It may be in a month. We don't know how fast they're going to develop it. But today, it has the potential, but it's not there yet. DJI's ended life, yeah. I think the only good thing with DJI is if you bought DJI today and bought yourself 10 air units, you be happy for the next 3 or 4 years. Simple as that. You'll be happy for a long period of time. Did we have a super chat come in? Something's come up on my screen, but it doesn't look like it's registered on there. The DJI system is very stable. You know, if you're someone that likes beta testing and are willing to punt the money down the drain, then this could be an option. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get ripped off, and I'm not saying it may never work properly. The answer is we don't know. So if you're buying this, you have to buy it on the understanding of it may never perform as good as we hope it does, because the manufacturer has no development history under their belt. We don't know what they're capable of. We know they're working with a third-party manufacturer. It remains to be seen the kind of support and integration they will really be able to do on the system. So we're going to have to wait and see. If you want a product that just works and you know you're going to get it working every day, it's hard not to recommend DJI against this at the moment for that. It has the potential to replace it, but it isn't there today. That's the only fair comment to say. Full capacity. I think they've got a lot of work to do. The one thing that concerns me on Avatar. Okay, so here's the one thing that concerns me. We don't know how much they understand about the system they're using. Okay, so we know what chipset they're using. Oh, thank you, GMI. I appreciate that. It's not popped up on my side. We know what chipset they're using. We know what code they're using. So the question is then, how much control and access they have over this? Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. We don't know how much integration they have. So the easiest way to think about what I'm saying here, and let me just move into a more relaxing position, is think of this a bit like an Arduino. You build an Arduino is basically Linux based, but you build the programming off the Arduino IDE code. So you are sandboxed within that IDE code. Okay? So you can do anything you want within that code, but if that function isn't within that code, then you can't do it. And that is very much, as it seems, the situation with this today. They have the chipset. It appears they're basically instigating the functionality off the back of the SDK. But that SDK has its limits. And what we don't know is if that SDK is going to allow them to do everything they need to do to get this to DJI's level. That is the real unknown here on this. That is the bit we don't know. Are they just twiddling the knobs to try and get the picture to look as good as it can? Or do they have the ability to get into the system and change how it deeply functions with regards to the encoding, with regards to the compression, and things like focus mode and region of interest and stuff like that? That's the unknown quantity with Avatar today. We don't know, are they simply playing within a sandbox, or do they have full and deep integration because they are using someone else's chipset? And that's the bit we don't know. And that chipset has no real history that we can look upon. Whilst we know it may be a loose cousin to DJI, we don't know everything for sure. But isn't the Walksnail company that's doing all the development most likely in China? Most likely in China, yeah. But the chipset, so the question is what is their links to Aristonin and how much control? Pringles, to see if they can make a chipset that'll do the job. That's the bit that's unknown. Are they tweaking on the surface, or can they really get below the hood? And how much experience are they going to need to do this? You know, have they ever done anything like this before? We don't know. Stay safe, GMI. Massive thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. You know, and that's the unknown. What we don't know is how much capability they've got to delve beneath the surface. How much capability have they got to really tweak it? It may not need that tweaking. Perhaps they'll mess around with some numbers and boom, it'll be perfect and off it goes. But we don't know. The latency is certainly there. It's got everything it needs. The hardware is capable. The hardware is capable. We just now need to see how much they can tweak the software. Now, I'll just show you the setup I've been using for it. As I said, I've been using the DJIs with these. This has been my predominant setup. So it has been, this is what I have found best. And what I will say is the performance of these goggles is heavily dependent on this top right antenna, because that's the transmit antenna on these goggles, that one there. So that one's important. Now, you could put a patch on that to increase things further, but we're going to have to see. So far, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Okay, guys. So, I'm going to have 10 more minutes before we wrap this one up. If you've got any questions, please do put them in the comment section. My plan this week is to get the review up midweek for this. I've got a review coming on the Commando 8. That's going up as well. I got mixed feelings on that radio. Compromised, but it does have some nice features. Compromised very much by the buttons and the fact you can't take it apart. Things put together like a bloody brick house. Just catching up on the chat a moment. If there's any questions of anything you guys want to know, please do let me know. I have Skies and 04X goggles and can't get anything to work in steady view. I have to turn them into race mode to get any ideas. Okay, so race mode simply limits the receiver to race channels. Okay, when you're in steady view, right, so you've got steady view X, and race mode off the top of my head. So ignore steady view X. You need 2 receivers for that. Steady view will give you access to all 48 channels. So you would then need to go into steady view, select, if you're on race band, R for race band, and then select your channel. But if you're only using race band, just put it in race mode. There's no need to use steady view, because race mode doesn't change the behavior of the module. It simply limits the channels. Ah, yes, the 3D printing bit. I did, but we'll come on to that now before we finish. That's good. That's a good reminder. Thank you for that. Forgot about the printing. So put it in race mode. Then you're in race 1 to 8, and then you need to select the mix mode. You've got mix mode 1, 2, and 3, and then diversity. Mix mode 3 is where you should start. If you start getting the camera playing up, try mix mode 2, and then down to mix mode 1. And if it doesn't work, toss it in diversity. Will a V1? Yes, in theory. These are the V1 antennas. So these are the V1s intentionally. The V1s are circular polarized, whereas the V2 antennas are linear. In theory, as a standalone, yes, they would make a difference. But take into account DJI is MIMO, or multi-in, multi-out. So any losses as a result of antennas may be made up simply through the MIMO application setup. Yes, potentially there's more gain on the V1 antennas, but if you're going to swap them, just go and get some true RC singularities or something, because you may as well just get something better. You should do a review on the TBS Source 1 version 5 frame. It's amazing for under $30. Do you know what? I need a new frame. I might get the TBS Source 1. I need a new frame. I need a frame for the Walksnail build. I need motors, a frame. Got a flight controller, thanks to Speedy B. Yes, the Creality. Right. I will be reviewing the Creality printer on the channel. A couple of printers, actually, but we're going to be talking about them over the next couple of weeks. And I'm in the midst, but I've been doing a lot of resin printing. And let me just get some stuff. And I've actually even tried printing in flexible resin, and I've had some success there as well. So give me a second. Let me just find the bits I want to show you, because they're not in front of me. Because, like the terrible YouTuber I am, I haven't prepped. They vanished. Where have they gone? They're all up there. Okay. So, on the overhead. Let me just adjust that camera. Someone ban that for me. Okay. Let me just get over. I can't get my mouse pointed to where it needs to be. Oh, thank you, Failsafe. You're a star, mate. Ridiculous. Okay, so I've been doing some printing in resin. So there's a couple of things I want to show you here. So these are stick protectors for the T16S, which I printed in resin. Now, these were Rotor Riot designed ones. I tried them first of all, just to see. Now, these aren't inflexible. These are solid black resin. These have come out absolutely fantastic. These really have. And these are gimbal protectors. You can print them with a link between them as well. But I printed these. We then started printing these gimbal ends in resin. Now, these are the sticky ones, but these are in solid resin in the white stuff, which they're really grippy, but these are hard. I then got some black resin, which is like translucent, which is these. And these are really good. Let me just do something so you guys can get in further, and let me just focus that for you. There you go. As you can see, it's hard to show them on this, but they are really sticky. You can see them from the top there. They are super sticky. And then today, I've printed these. Now, these are in the F69. This stuff, F69 flexible resin. And these are actually printed in that. And these are rubber, or hard resin rubber. And if you see, look, I can squeeze them. They're actually flexible. And I have to say, I am blown away with just how good these have come out. I really am. That top camera is a bit dark. It's hard to show on that. But let me, if I torch this. Let me just put my torch on the side of them a minute. Hopefully you can see them a bit better then. So you can see you've got the pattern on them as well. It's hard to show. Now, they have come out fantastic. I'll be honest. They have come out, especially the rubber ones. These two sets of rubber ones have come out just amazing. How does it feel compared to TVU? It's hard. This stuff is hard. It's quite hard. Doesn't flex really when I do that. It will flex, but it's really print tiny wood props. Could do. It is. The detail is just astonishing. It is just astonishing. Now, I was sent from Creality the Halot 1 Plus. It's there. I'm still playing with it. I genuinely am blown away how easy it has become. The setup on it is fantastic. You just send it via Wi-Fi. You send the files over via Wi-Fi. Now, there is no question there is a lot more work to resin printing. I'm not going to pretend there isn't, and we'll be talking about that in the video as we go through. But the detail and the output is just stunning. the results is just stunning. It really, really is. It really, really is. You know, these Rotor Riot ones, I was blown away by just how well they came out. It was just a test one I did. I thought I'll just do it. And that surface is how the surface has come out on them, like that metal finish. There's a couple of marks here and there, look. But overall, the detail is just incredible. Just incredible. It really is. You can still see on the bottom where the supports, where I could do with just sanding that a touch. That's all, just to nip that off. Looks very dark, doesn't it? That one. But yeah, they look amazing. It looks great. They are genuinely. I was blown away by these. Not much to clean up compared to printed. Stick protectors. Cost. I'd need to figure out the cost of the resin, Bruce. A kilo of good resin can be about 30 quid. So, wait there, let's do the math. Let me tell you what it said that took. So if we go onto the Halot software, so if we go onto the desktop, Halot box, we'll do this. This is what we'll do is we'll open, and we want the Rotor Riot gimbal. Yes, we want to fix it, and then we want to clone it, add a second one. No, we don't want a third one. If we do what? Actually, we do one. We don't want two, we want one. So we do the layout, center it. We do the supports, and we'll go for standard. So we'll go all. So it'll print it off the deck. So you guys can see that there. So it'll simply print it like that on the table. We'll then choose to slice normal resin, and we'll let it slice, and we'll see. Fumes isn't as bad as I thought. I've got a vat full of resin there right now. I haven't been emptying it every time. I've been leaving it a day or so. Fumes is okay. Yes, you can smell it, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's not like freaking sniffing aerosols or anything like that. It's not good for you, but the resins have got much better. It's the cleaning that's the problem. Yeah, isopropyl. So, Bruce, they say in 50 milliliters estimated usage. 50 milliliters. So 150, you know, it's what? 50. Two of them would be 100 mil. So you're talking 3 quid. Maybe, yeah, 3 quid for two. Yeah, it's not as bad. 3 quid each. Yeah, 3 quid each. It's not terrible. Print some props and then test the flight characteristics. That would be cool. I wonder what they'd be like in the flexible. $6 for us. Yeah, it's. Yeah, it's not shocking. Don't get me wrong. The resin I had from Creality is very pongy. But the other two I've used, this room's been buzzing today, and it's fine. Absolutely fine. A 1 minute print is not bad. Try a 14-hour print fumes. Yeah, 1 minute. They were 3 hours. So, right, guys. I'm going to end this one here. I'd like to thank everyone, first of all, who has donated super chats in this one. Massive, massive thank you to everyone who's supported the channel to get these goggles. I want to say, if you're still watching, please do give it a like if you've enjoyed this video. We will be putting the review video on the system later this week. If you're interested in seeing that, please do make sure you are a subscriber. If you'd like to continue to support us or support us in making content in the future, there are links to my Patreon as well as Buy Me a Coffee in the description. It's only by you guys using them am I able to keep making videos like this and the ones we've been making on the Walksnail system. I do need to do a complete rebuild on an aircraft now to get DJI in. I might have a look at that Source one. So that's an interesting look. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. Stay safe, look after yourself, and I will speak to you guys soon. Now, as always at a live stream, there's always a horrible way to end it. We've got to find the button. There it is. Number 1. And then we go. We're going to hit number 2.